Hey everyone, today we're going to replace the speedometer gear. This is a 92 Dodge Daytona IROC Shelby, but it pretty much will work in any Dodge car or Chrysler product from those years. Here's what the dashboard looks like. If yours has similar controls, it's probably got the same parts that this has, and it'll be the same procedure. But I've been having problems with my speedometer. Works fine, but the odometer doesn't work. Both the trip odometer and the odometer itself. So there's a couple of little plastic gears you can buy from a company called odometergears.com. That should will repair it, and you should never have problems with it again. So the first step would be to remove this whole control panel that all your switches are on for the headlights and wipers. Do that. There's one screw down here, one on this side, and two up here. There's normally this vent normally goes on top of there, and that just kind of pops out. You can use like a screwdriver or something to pry it out on each side. Just be careful you don't break these tabs. And so that's first step right there. Right, this is the top of your instrument cluster where your headlight switches and wiper switches are. Actually, I'm filming this in the reverse of removing it, but anyhow, it attaches. The back of it has these connectors for the switches, but they don't move. They just kind of push into there. The wires don't come out when you pull it, when you remove this whole assembly. But there's two screws on the bottom, one there, the other ones stay in. And then there's a little vent up top that you got to pry off carefully, and there's two screws up there that hold these tabs on top of this whole assembly on. So that would be your first step to remove that. Alright, the lens for the gauges is held in by 6 Torx bolts as well. 2 up top, one there, one there, one there, and one up there. And that just pulls right out as well. You want to have the steering wheel tilted down as far as it goes. So after you have the dash lens off, you'll have to remove these 3 gauge clusters. There's 6 Torx bolts there, there, and there. The left two these two will just pull right out. You got to pull the speedometer out first, then this side, and these two aren't connected by any cables or anything, but this one has like a vacuum line attached to it, so it's best just to pull it out and loosen it, but don't try to take it out completely. And then you'll have to take out these 4 screws to remove the frame that it's in, because actually this one is connected with a thin cable, and you have to take the frame out to reach around back and pull it and just connect it. But it's pretty easy, and putting it back in, just the reverse steps. Alright, after you get the 3 screws off from behind the face of the speedometer, the back part, you flip it around, and there's a little pin that's attached to the trip reset button. It just kind of slides out like that. So you can put the faceplate aside. There's your odometer, and on the back there's 4 screws that hold on this clear plastic plate. I actually already had it apart, so mine are pretty loose. So just take them off. and that comes off like that. And then the part we need to get to is inside of there. So there's you're going to take off this whole little circuit board. There's 2 screws that hold that on. So just take them off. And there's 2 wires, a black one and a blue one. I've already loosened them, or you don't have to unhook them or anything, but they were kind of twisted to take up the slack, but I guess it was made to be taken off of there because they left you some extra wire, luckily. So you just got to kind of loosen that up, and so you get the slack out, and you can pull this off like so. There's gears coming through this housing here into the back of the odometer, so it's got to be pulled like straight out. And that's the part that needs to be replaced right there. You have this, and on the other side is this tiny little green gear. That's the one that usually goes bad. I don't know if you can see or not, but there are some teeth missing on it. And when I had it apart earlier, yeah, you can see there's one right here that broke off. So you gotta use some compressed air and spray that out real good. Make sure there's no, because they say any little piece can make this whole thing go bad again, so you want to make sure it's completely cleaned out. Even if you can't see anything in there, get this compressed air and spray it out anyway, which I'm going to do now. Alright, I'm back and got a little bit of light here with us this time. Sorry about before, it might have been a little bit hard to see, but from here on out it should be alright. But you want to get as much as you can out of there by hand. And then spray it out real good. And then ready for the new parts, which I'll show you in a second. Alright, now you're going to want to try to get as much, if you can see any grease or oil on here, try to wipe it off, because they say that's what led to the first ones deteriorating to begin with. Apparently the oil they used on these old gears had broken down the plastic over the years, but the new ones are made out of a self-lubricating material, so they don't need any more grease on them, and they're supposed to last a lifetime. I got them from odometergears.com, which is a great place to make these available to us. Otherwise we wouldn't have much luck with our odometers anymore. But they do come at a price, but it costs a lot to make the machinery that you know, makes this stuff, so we're lucky that they're around. So you want to put the gears, take the small one, you get 2 pieces with it, this one, this one. You're going to put this onto the back like that. So now it's going to go right back onto here, like so. You got to make sure it's lined up right. Alright, now that's on there. Then you gotta line this up just right so that this part right here is going to fit into that little hole there. And then they say you got to kind of twist this a little bit so it's properly seated. Alright, after you have that done, you're going to want to, like I said, you don't really turn the numbers, you turn this last gear here, and you'll kind of feel it click into place. You're going to want to hold it like this so you keep this part from coming loose once you have it in. And then you got to tighten those screws back up. Remember, you're only tightening into plastic, so you don't want to force it, and be careful not to strip it. So now you have that back on, and let's see, now you're going to want to put this back over like that so it's not going to get in the way of the numbers later on when it's back in the car. Alright, so then you got your back cover that we took off earlier, and you can put that back on like so. This part here has to goes over that circuit board to kind of help it stay in place. That one's held on with the 4 screws. One more. Also, while you're doing this, you're going to want to make sure your hand's not, I'm keeping my, making sure I'm not pressing down or letting this get bent. That's your the little shaft that the speedometer needle rests on. You don't want to bend that. It's really thin. Alright, so now we got those screws back on, and hopefully that's now a working odometer. Got a little bit more to put back together. I'll be back in a minute.